Hello, everyone. Um, Thank you for joining me today. I understand we're a little bit behind, and there was a lot of exciting things going on this morning. So hopefully, we can keep the energy going. Um, so your session today, just in case you want to make sure you're in the right one, is how to deliver consistent client experiences. And then we're going to talk a little bit about how to keep people safe, because the two actually could be slightly in conflict at some times. So let's go ahead and just dig right in. So this is one of the scale sessions as part of the seminar that you're attending. And my goal today is to really talk about client alignment and give you some tips and tools to ensure that you really can be the best, um, just the best firm and kind of just the happiest person you can be. Keep your clients and your staff happy too. So, a little bit about me. I think many of you know me. I've obviously been around for a while. If you don't know me, I think probably the thing that most of you will resonate with is that I am a very passionate cheerleader for the accounting professionals of all types. I am a recovering accounting professional myself. I never lost the passion for what you do and how you solve problems every day and serve your clients. I just don't do the accounting anymore or the bookkeeping. Um, and I have an announcement, which is kind of fun. This is sort of like my little coming out party. I am the newest team member at Bookkeep. So um, I we're not going to talk about Bookkeep, but I do hope that you'll come and see me in the thank you. All of you are clapping and everything. This should be really fun. It should be really, really fun. If you don't know about Bookkeep, come to us and learn at QuickBooks Connect, or you can sideline, thank you, everyone. That's so awesome. I'm just imagining the crowd going wild, which is wonderful. I'm very excited as well. Um, and probably most notable about me is that I have spent, gosh, I mean, oh my gosh, 20 plus years in the accounting profession, and most of that serving you as an advocate at Intuit. Um, I do love to grow weird and wonderful backyard vegetables, and then of course I eat them. Right now, I'm eating a lot of lemon cucumbers, many, many more than any person would ever want to eat, and I have literally no time for mean people. So that's me, um, and hopefully that makes you laugh. Now, as we get into the presentation, I'm going to kind of state the obvious here. You have some serious challenges. You need to create an awesome experience for your clients and your staff and yourself. If you don't have staff, I'm going to be talking as if you have staff, but if you're a solo, you are your staff. So I'm talking to the staff here. Um, as a leader, you have these conflicting challenges because keeping everybody safe is a requirement now. You cannot get around it. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. You also, in order to stay in business and stay sane and keep your staff and keep growing in the way that you want to grow, because everybody wants to grow in a different way, um, you also need to create that awesome experience. Now, there's something really important that you keep in mind as we go through this presentation. When I say client experience, I'm not talking about the services you offer your clients. And this is a huge, important differentiation because you really need to get that clear in your brain that I'm talking about how the client feels when they work with your firm, how easy it is, how frictionless, how quickly they can get answers from you, and vice versa, um, versus the awesome work that I know all of you do for your clients. So we're not talking about your service list and what you offer your clients. We're talking about how they experience it. So I hope that you'll keep that in mind as I go through. But let's talk about your clients for a minute. Um, does it ever feel like you're hurting cats? Um, I know it used to when I was doing accounting. I would have clients, it was the Wild West. They just would do their own thing. They'd text me with pictures. They'd email me sensitive data, unencrypted. Or the funniest was when they were trying to be, I know you're all laughing. This happens, right? This happens. Clients they go about their day. What do they have in their hand? They have their phone. That's it, right? So they tend to ignore things. They ignore your emails. They send you things late. It's even after your badger. So all of you are super organized, and this conference has been amazing and helped you get even more organized and more streamlined. However, that the clients can just derail it, and they don't understand the dangers. So the really important thing to understand is that security isn't optional anymore. And there it's not optional. And there are some serious consequences for not behaving in a secure manner. And the FTC safeguards rule, if you don't know about it, good, lots of thumbs up. Thank you, all of you. Keep those emojis coming because that really helps me understand what you're doing, how you're experiencing this presentation. Love it. I love the sunglasses. Oh, thank you, everybody. Um, the FTC went into the penalty phase as of June 9th. And this was always the case that the FTC required you to be safe, and the IRS as well, if you do taxes, or if you have a P10, which those of you that do payroll, you will have a P10. So there's a number of things here that you need to do, but the most important one for this presentation, I think, is that you need to make sure that everything is encrypted. And by the way, just a little side note, there is a course on the Grove. It's the grove.thinkific.com. Maybe I could ask Tosin to put that into the chat. You can take a course on this, and it'll get you all the way through everything you need, including everything you need to do your written information security plan. So I'm not going to go deep on that here, but I'm using this as the background to help you understand that there are some serious consequences if you don't keep your firm safe, all the actions that your firm do, and how you treat data. FTC safeguards rule, the full name is safeguarding consumer data. And so you need to make sure that everything's encrypted and at rest and in transit. That means coming from your client, going to your client. And that's the piece that's going to really cause some issues if you don't have simple systems to use, because most clients will not encrypt email. You also need to, I just highlight this one, um, implement multi-factor authentication. So make sure that any apps that you're using and everything that does have multi-factor authentication, and turn it on. And I know some of you are groaning, a little bit of a PETA, sorry, you need it. And that's the thing that shuts the scammers down if there's a problem. Thank you for the one person that put the thumbs up. I love you. Yeah, oh, there we go. Some clapping. So, what is a WISP? So, your WISP is your written information security plan. If you don't have one, get one immediately. And you want to make sure, and it's not a difficult thing, but you want to make sure that you understand what you can do. Now, here's the key things here. Personally identifiable information cannot be transmitted via unencrypted methods. So you have to have an encrypted method that is going to be safe and secure. So that's really important. And as you think through your client experience, you're going to want to be thinking about a solution that they can actually be successful and use. You cannot store any personally identifiable information in unencrypted places like emails or text. If you have it right now in your email, you need to scrub your email and delete it. You need to delete those texts. You cannot have it in where someone could access it if they got access to that system. The rest of it I'm not going to cover. I'm going to gloss over pretty quickly because the reason for me bringing all this up is that, um, well, and it's just a little bit of a sideline here. Sorry, I'll get to my reason in a minute. Um, if you do tax, you've actually been attesting that you have a written information security plan. So you want to make sure you have that in place. But the reason I'm bringing this up is that the people in your firm are going to be the biggest challenge that you have. And clients are their own worst enemies, but staff needs simplicity too. So as you think about your client experience, how are they experiencing your firm within the lens of the systems that you're asking them to use? And everything needs to be easy and automatic. And the really good news is, um, Sorry, I've got it. That. Hang on a second. Sorry, everybody. Go back here. Yeah. So your staff will comply, but what about your clients? And that's the challenge there that you're going to have to solve. And the good news is that there is a way to comply and you can make security automatic and easy. And the key is to make it automatic. And so I know I just kind of said the same thing, but it's a way of thinking and acting, including the software that you use in your firm that puts the client first. And so when you think through your client experience, instead of only solving for your own needs, and I watched a number of the sessions and things, and I did see a good number of conversations where people were like, "No, we choose the systems and then we make our clients use them." That's true. That is true. You choose, and you do choose the systems that you're going to ask your clients to make. The difference, the little nuance that I want to throw in is um, make sure that you're choosing a system that actually has the client in mind as well. And some of the solutions that are out there that are kind of really designed for the firm will have a little add-on for the client, but it's an afterthought. And so what you want to do is I call it the grandmother test. If your grandmother can unassisted use the system, then you've got a winner. If your grandmother cannot use it, then you probably don't have a terribly easy system. The other one to know, the other little bellwether is, the other little litmus test is how much time do you have to spend troubleshooting it? Or how many clients use it versus don't use it. So those are the key things to evaluate. Um, and so you're going to take into account how the client is actually able to move to manage all those requirements so that they can meet your deadlines and be happy working with your firm. And I want to give you some examples of other industries that have done that. And they have led with a customer first, a client, and there's client first, a client first approach. And you'll notice that these are all shown on the phone. And the reason is that the main thing, the one thing that your business owner clients will have in their hand all day is their phone. They will not have their computer. And they can do email on their phone, but can they log into your portal from their phone? Can they send you documents from their phone? Like, can they do all of that from their phone? So when you think about the things that you need, um, you want to be thinking through Client Experience 2.0. And some of you know I worked at Liscio for 3 years, and Liscio is a great example of a client first app that you can use that's also really good for the firm. But as you go through these examples, think about how your life changed when, for example, this is the B of A app, when you could deposit a check using your phone. Um, I'm old enough to remember when I had to get to the bank. How many of you remember, hands up, how many remember when you had to get to the bank? Like, you had to actually, like, "I sorry, can't talk. I gotta get to the bank," right? And you literally had to race out the door and go and get in line to deposit checks. I see, yeah, see, right? Right? It wasn't actually that long ago. But now, would you go back to that way once you've experienced this new way of doing it? Heck no. I can't imagine anybody who would. But you can still walk into the bank and talk to the banker if you want. So your solutions shouldn't obfuscate the great relationships that you have with your clients and the ability for you to be closely aligned with them and have as much contact as you want with them and they with you. They should just facilitate and be that extra. In the middle, I wanted to show New York Times because um, you can still get the paper, no problem. I choose the app because I can search any article that I want anytime, and it just I love it. And then the one over to the right is the Home Depot, and that's one of the best apps I've ever seen that is so customer first because and when I'm saying customer, think client, your client, because you can text on the app and they will answer and let you know if they have that patio set. It is unbelievably good. So these are companies that have taken the Client Experience 2.0 concept and applied it to their business. And I think the accounting and the bookkeeping and the tax industry needs to do that as well. And so I think Liscio is one of the best examples I've seen. There are others out there, but thank you, all of you who are using Liscio. Thank you. Um, and it's a great example that where you can help your clients and also have a great experience internally. Now, one of the things that we want to acknowledge is that 72% of businesses say their top priority is to improve the client experience. And this does require a strategy. And your clients are expecting a great deal of personal care these days. And if you can't give it to them, they're more than likely to walk away. It used to be that clients could find that clients could find new the client. It was a bit of a pain to find a new firm. Um, Now you're in a little bit of a boat, a little bit of a more of the cats, the what am I trying to say? You're in the catbird seat, the good seat. You're in a good place because there's a shortage of accountants and bookkeepers. Um, so they're not going to be able to leave you as easily as they could before. But you still want to present a really awesome experience to them and use a strategy to do that, so that you can choose the best clients. And those clients will refer clients like them, which are the best clients to you. So even though you're not really too worried about losing your clients because you know there's a shortage of you're in demand, you're hotly in demand, you still need this strategy. So what is your client experience strategy? Um, and a successful CX strategy really does demand um, something from you and your team. And your client experience is going to start when they first start looking for an accountant or a bookkeeper or a tax firm. And then it extends all the way through, like from the minute they discover your firm, all the way across all subsequent interactions, onboarding, doing the physical work, the tax strategy, et cetera, and all the way through getting word of mouth referrals. So if you haven't done this already, this is a fantastic thing to do, and you will uncover so many things during this process of developing empathy through voice of client. This is something that Intuit has built into its DNA, and they routinely go out and talk with clients, talk with customers, are constantly understanding what that experience is using the product. Um, but you're going to get it through feedback, and so um, then you can help everyone create throughout your whole company and help everybody create that better experience. So let's talk about what you do to do that. So the first thing I recommend you do is that you really take some time to understand their day. What roadblocks are they facing? And these are just some of the questions that you might ask them. Do you have a scanner? Well, most millennial clients, and I mean, they don't own a scanner, they don't own a printer. And if you ask them to scan something, what are you really asking them to do? You're actually asking them to go to Kinko's or, they have to go somewhere and do it. And so if you get a lot of clients that are sending you photos of documents, which is endless rounds of arts and crafts and fun to get that into a PDF, right? I don't even know how many steps it is. It's a lot of steps. If somebody knows, chime in. I think it's at least 7. Um, so like the other question is can you log, can they log in to your secure system using just their phone? Are the reminders automatic? Are they running only over email? And I know some solutions are email based, and that's fine. Um, Email is problematic if it's the only way and the person is really busy. And so the person you're reaching is really busy because what happens with email, right? It goes down below the fold and it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. So ideally you would have something that would have an app with it so that they can or that it's easily done over the phone. And that's again where that grandmother test comes in. And so any solution that you require your clients to use, I highly recommend that you evaluate it within the lens of the barriers that they face. It also has to be secure without them needing to do anything. And that's the really important part there because if we go back to the beginning of my presentation and we talk about the FTC safeguards rule, there's like really big penalties if you it's something like $41,000 a day. Um, and it's just nuts. It's just so expensive. If you and how do you get caught? You get caught because there's a breach or you have a disgruntled employer, disgruntled somebody whistleblowing. So don't think because you're a small firm that it doesn't apply to you. Security is, as I said earlier, it's not optional anymore. And then you want to make sure that the solution that you choose is part of their experience with you from the very first touch. So let's talk about that first touch and beyond the onboarding. Katie Maddox has a fantastic course on the Grove, thegrove.thinkific.com. The course is free. It's called Onboarding with Excellence. I highly recommend if you have not seen Katie's presentation, watch it. It's amazing. She has a process. She breaks it into chunks. She uses tools to meet the client instead of where you are, where they are. And she doesn't send them a long list of documents with a link to a terrible portal. So if that's your onboarding experience, I'm going to ask that you really take a look at it within the lens of how would you feel if your accountant sent that to you and you were super busy. I know me, I want to poke out my eye with a sharp stick when I get things like that from accountants. So I tell them this is a terrible experience and then they never do it again. So because I tell them, I educate them. So your best practices, as we're wrapping up the presentation, we've only got a few more slides left. Once your secure, easy system is chosen, you need to roll it out right. So there's three components into that. There's training your staff. I saw lots of amazing ways to train, doing looms and having tangos and there's various different ways to do that. All of the checklists that you can do within Financial Sense, you're going to want to embed those training videos in there. Your existing clients, you need to train them. You need to send them an email to announce the tool. Give one-on-one training if necessary. Nudge if the client still uses the old insecure methods. And then you're going to embed it into all of your new client flows so that you set them off right from the start on the right foot. And then always do this. You want to meet or exceed your client experience, your client expectations. And essentially offering a really awesome client experience is your key to helping meet or exceed their expectations. And the reason is that yeah, I know, yay, right? Let's exceed let's exceed their expectations. Um, and here's some examples of ways that you can. Um, and some of this comes from people that you know, like Debbie Kiltheimer says, answer the phone. And she literally just answers the phone. She says, this is my key. I just answer the phone. I've heard other people say provide clarity. I think that this is a case of like all these things, like what you need, what they need, when they need to send it, how they want to send it, like how you need it sent. Provide clarity. Now, again, that's not a long list of documents with a link to your portal, okay? Um, that is clear, but it's not a great experience. So you want to, again, within the lens of the client experience, you need to understand they are busy running their businesses. So accounting or tax is not their highest priority right now. And then if you can reduce or eliminate email, everyone hates it. None of us love saying, oh, yay, 100 more emails, yay. No, we hate it. Don't use jargon when you talk to them. Be very, very plain English. Talk in normal language. Make sure that that they understand what you're saying, and then be proactive with your advice. Now, if you have some really great tools for sharing, please share them in the chat, and I would love that. I want to leave some time for for questions. So I'm going to just scoot through the next few slides and then we'll be able to turn over to questions. And I hope some of you shared Liscio because Liscio is a really good one. And then you're going to measure. And there are 4 R's of client referral of how you measure your client experience and whether you're meeting the mark. The first is the number of client referrals. If you're getting a lot of client referrals, yay! Yay! You are getting you're nailing it. Because people are liking what you're giving them, so you're nailing it. How many clients are you retaining year over year? That's just a percentage, you should be in the 90+%. You don't have to count the ones that you get rid of. It's the ones that leave on their own. And then client response time. How quickly are they responding? They should be responding pretty quickly. Interesting stat is that Liscio, when it was measured, this was a couple of years ago, but I doubt it's changed now, is 20 times faster than email. Okay, yeah, it's a pretty good stat. And if you use the integrated text feature, the average response time was 6 minutes. Ooh, 6, that's great. So you want to look at the response time. And then your Google and your Yelp reviews. How many reviews do you have? How good are they? What are people saying? So your next steps. I love this one. Meet with your team and roll out your very best client experience. So that's what I have. And I guess I'll go ahead and take a look at we have a few minutes for it, and Tosin will keep me honest here and tell me how long I have. So let's go ahead and ask some questions and answer some questions here. So, okay, so we have, is FTC and WISP USA only or Canada as well? I do know that it's USA because it's the Federal Trade Commission and the IRS, which are US entities. However, I think a WISP is best practice in Canada. So I'm going to ask some of the Canadian experts on the call to weigh in on the Canadian equivalent of it. Travis, can you share the link you mentioned about the Grove when you get a chance? Um, yes, how do I do that? It's thegrove.thinkific.com. I'll put it in the chat if everybody just wants to go to the chat really quick. The Grove dot thinkific.com. The Grove.thinkific.com. Okay, I just put it on the bottom of the chat. Shannon, do you have a recommendation for software that will strip out personally identifiable information out of your incoming emails and will alert the client who didn't, thank you, Tosin, for sharing that, who didn't follow instructions to use the portal? Okay. I do not know one that will strip out PII. However, what I do know is a number of firms that I know, a growing number of firms are not allowing any attachments via email. And they will have an auto reply back to their client that any personally that basically not accepting via email. If you email Andrew Wall, you'll get "I hate email" as your response back, and then he directs to they use Liscio, so he directs to Liscio. Oh, this is so funny, Jessica. Sorry, I want to. Jessica. Oh, there's 2 Jessicas. Okay, how can you handle old school clients who are not tech savvy and may have difficulty implementing new technology? So Jessica, it's a great question. That's where you want to go to the grandmother test. So I sorry, this is not a presentation about Liscio, but Liscio is the best. Even I don't work there anymore, right? So I just want to clarify that with you all. I work at Bookkeep now. Well, as of November 6th, I'll be working at Bookkeep. Um, the 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 success rate with elderly clients has been really, really high, and the reason is that there's a tablet version, and so a lot of elderly people have tablets, and so you want to look for a solution that is so simple that they can't get it wrong. the more steps, the more things they have to download, the more things they have to do. And then the other thing I would say is, will the solution, let's just say it's Liscio, will they support the small business client? Yes. So, Isaac, what does FTC define as sensitive information? Everything. I'm actually serious. Your first name, your last name, your email, your address, your phone number, your social security number, your taxpayer ID number. It is, oh, and even your client lists. Your client list, your vendor list. That's even, and why is that? And so let's just chat through just 30 seconds why that is. It's because a phisher or a scammer could aggregate, could select little bits of this and go around and put it into a big picture and then totally scam that person. So almost everything is sensitive information, personally identifiable. It's personally identifiable information. Is Liscio US based? Yes. And works in Canada as well. What does your tech stack look like? There's so much overlap. I don't have a tech stack because I work for one app, Kelly. So I'm going to ask you to share that with other people. I want to answer Jessica Allard's quick, cute question. How do you find the time to garden along with your full schedule? I sneak out and I work at home and I sneak out and I water the garden. Yeah. Um, how are we doing? How are we doing, Tassine? What other questions do we want to answer? Um, Session's ending. All right. Thank you, everybody. I've really appreciated spending this time with you. I hope to see many of you at QuickBooks Connect. All right. Right back at you. All right. I think we are done.